Hey everyone, this is Scott with Show Me Solo, and today I'm going to do a gameplay of Automated Alice. This is a Kickstarter game which is now shipping out to its backers. And again, this is a 1 to 4 player game in which you are Alice, and you are going to be visiting these various case files in order to clear your name from some heinous jigsaw killings that have been happening. In order to clear your name, you're going to be visiting the different case files and solving these specific clues on each case file. Now, I'm going to play a solo game, and the mechanics are the same as if you're playing a cooperative up to 4 player game. And for a solo game, there's going to be 1 clue card per case file. For 2 players, there are 2 cards, and 3 to 4, you're going to have 3 cards per file, which you're going to try to solve. And basically, as you're moving to different case files, and I'll lay Alice down just so you could see the standee better, you're going to be using dice in order to meet the requirements of each card in hopes to gain its powers upon solving the clue. So a couple card examples here. With cards with text on them are powers that you gain and can use at any time once you solve the clue. Some cards don't have any powers or text on them, but the nice thing is it comes with a lot of different cards here, which you can see various different requirements as well as powers. So this adds a lot of replayability, even if you're playing up to 4 players, which is really nice. So on your turn, you're going to have an opportunity to roll the dice 3 times and also have the opportunity to move about to different case files before the rolls. So as an example, if you roll the dice here, you're now able to place them only on the file that you are currently on. So you're placing them to match the color, of course, but also if there are any specific number values. So these are meaning the sum of 18 or more. This is the sum of 20. These require the color of the dice to be less than or equal to 3, 4, or 5. Same over here. E is even, but they just all have to be yellow. And again, a less than or equal to. So as an example, I can place that 5, which is a high number to get me close to 18. A 4 is probably good, right? The purple dice here are wild, so they can go for any color and the value will match, which is really great. I can take care of those blues. Now the only tricky part are these green dice. These are called the Civil Serpent dice, and the way they work are if you pick them out of the bag on your roll, and you're going to be rolling 4 dice every time unless you have a power to draw an extra dice or something similar. These have to be placed first if they're able to be placed. So I can put that green dice there because the green stand for no color, but the number has to stay the same and fit the parameter, in which case that's perfectly fine. If this case file was almost full or something specific here where it was an even number and I cannot place that, I place it in the Civil Serpent tracker. And if at any point there are 6 Civil Serpent dice there, the game immediately ends. Now the way we can get rid of these dice are by taking any dice of the same number and color. So this is a better example. So in this case, if I had to place that 5 Civil Serpent dice, and I also had a 5 blue, I would remove that from the clue card, put that back in the bag, and it might be able to be selected on future turns. Because in order to solve the clue and take the potential power, you cannot have any green dice. So those are really important to not just let them accumulate on the tracker, but also make sure you're getting rid of them so that you could solve the clue before the turn tracker gets back around to 12. So in a solo game, you have 12 turns. In higher players, you have less turns, but you have more people playing for the same goal. So that's the basics of the rules there. While I put these back in the bag, I'll highlight one more thing. 2 more things, actually. Each case card has a specific character with a specific power. Now, as you're moving from case to case, you're able to use those powers either before you roll your dice or just after you roll your dice. The only trick here is, if I started here, I could move to any other one. You can go back to where you originally were previously, or you could stay. However, you're not able to reuse the power of the same case file character if you've already used it. You could stay there for your 3 rolls or go back, but you could only use each case file power once per turn. Now, before we jump into the playthrough, how are you able to freely move about the cases? Well, you have no restriction, except for the case file where Mrs. Midas has landed. So before each of your turns, you're going to roll the special dice, and Miss Midas goes to the case file of the matching number. And I'll lay her down here. So that means until the very next turn, whether you're playing solo or cooperative, Alice may never travel to this case file, and as such, she is never able to use the dice to try to solve that clue until either Miss Midas moves, either via power from a different clue card, or until your very next turn. So this adds a little bit of trickiness and, of course, a little bit of luck of the dice in terms of solving the clues. So why don't we just jump right in and get started? So first turn, you started at 12. 6, okay, we were just there. So Gladys Crow Dingler is where Miss Midas is. We cannot go there. Now, at the start of the turn, we draw our 4 dice. Shake that up a bit since I just put them in. All right, no green dice. That's good. Now, little faux pas, I should have done this before I picked the dice. After Miss Midas is placed, we always move to the case file where we want to start off. So I'll just pick number 1 because I made a little mistake. It's before we pick the dice. So while we're there, we then roll the dice to see what we get. And not the greatest to get 18 or more. I will place the 4 because that is pretty decent. Now I have other blues. I'm going to move over to the next one for my second roll. I'll move over to Jimmy Hentrails. Now his power is letting me flip over a dice, which should be really good, considering I have all these blues. That is not bad. So I'm going to place the 6. I'm going to use his power to flip over the 1 to the 6. So that's 12 to 20. And if I wanted, I could place this. However, or I could place it as a 2, or I could stay there and re-roll, or I can move. You know what? I'll stay there and just re-roll, but I cannot use his power again. Oh, boy, I wish I didn't do that. Well, see, now I have to place it here. Or maybe I don't have to, but I want to, because any dice left over at the end of the turn, and playing solo, this would be my last roll at the end of the turn, it goes into the dice hold there, which it stays until the end of the game. The only way I'm able to get that dice back, or any amount of dice, is by spending turns. 1 turn per dice. Now, over the game, this might accumulate quite a bit, and it might be taking away wild dice, which don't go back into the bag, or colors that I might need. So that is something to definitely consider and use sparingly. But for this case, for the sake of this game, I will just place it there. And I'm out of dice. That was my 3 rolls. That's the end of the turn. So now the turn tracker moves 1. We roll for Miss Midas again. She goes to 1. We cannot go up to the captain, which is perfectly fine. I am actually going to... Why don't I move to Long Distance Davis? Draw my 4 dice here. 3. Wow, wow, wow. That is not good. 3 Civil Serpent dice, which we have to use. And there are 3 spots there, so long as we met the parameters. Okay. Now we should say, any powers that I might have had that would allow me to do things like maybe swap a dice color or something, those powers do not apply to the Civil Serpent dice. There is a card that allows you to defeat Civil Serpents once they're placed, but you're not able to use any of the card powers like this to subtract a dice. They have to be placed as is. And unfortunately I have to place them, and I have everything to place them. That is a must, because again, if I think I swapped these. If I, did I? Oh, I think so. If I was not able to place them, they would have to go into the Civil Serpent tracker. Okay, so I am left with that. I can't go there. Yikes. Let me just go here just to try to get rid of this, because I can't even roll to get rid of those because they need red or blue and I have a yellow. So my second roll, a 4 is even. Okay, I'll put them there. Oh, not a great turn, but let's see what we can do on the next turns. So let's see where Miss Midas is going. 5. Another great example. Miss Midas moves to 5. Alice and Miss Midas can never occupy the same case file. So what this means is when I start my turn, I must move Alice to another case file instead of just leaving her here, which would have been a valid move had Mrs. Midas not been there. So before I grab my dice, I have to decide where to move Alice, and I really want to try to get rid of some of those. So let's see. Well, not great. I did get 1 green dice, which now there's nowhere to place that, so I must put it on the tracker, and now I'm 5 Civil Serpents away from losing the game. I really want to try to get rid of some of those, but subtracting 1 from a die is not a great power. Let me go down here, which his power allows me to draw an extra die to be rolled with my current set. All right, yellow's not bad, but it's not going to help me get rid of those Civil Serpents for sure. I could use the wild for greater than 5. That's okay. I don't have a red. I only have 1 blue and 2 yellows. So let me go over here. Now, if I wanted, this is my last roll, if I wanted to blind swap a die, I could, I have to use it before I roll, so I can just take 1 from the bag and put 1 back, but I do like these colors because they match the card there, so let me see what I can do with that. Oh, those would have been really good over there. All right. Place that 6 and the 5 because I only need to get over 18. And I'm getting there, but now I have nowhere to place that, and that's my 3rd roll, so that has to go into the holding part. Okay, round 3. See, that once you get comfortable, the rounds move pretty quickly, but as you can see, I'm now starting to be limited in terms of my opportunities to solve the cases based on the dice I get. So Mrs. Midas is going to stay there, and you know what? I'm going to stay there as well. So let me just draw my 4. Now, if I wanted, I could blind swap one of these, but I don't. I like the colors, and hopefully I can try to get rid of some of those Civil Serpents there on my next move. So what am I at now? I'm at 15. All right, so that gives me 18, which is perfect. And now I'm going to complete that clue card, which upon completing the clue card, you take that. I now have this ability to use anytime during my turn. Copycat any ability. Now this means I can use any of the case file characters' abilities regardless if I am at that case file or not. So this is quite nice, could really come in handy. And all the dice I've used to complete that go back in the bag, which is great. And I'm still left with 2, so I definitely want to move over here to try to get rid of some of those. Again, this ability might be able to come into play. a blue 3. I would need a blue 5 or a red 4. Which, oh, none of that is going to help at all. Oh, let me think. Adding 1 won't help. Oh boy. All right. You know what? I really want to try to, and subtracting certainly will help. I'm going to stay there for my third roll. I really want to try to get rid of some of those. Oh, well, okay. I can do something with that. I can use my copycat any ability to use Jimmy Hentrails over there to flip over a dice. No. Why did I? Oh, yes. Okay, so blue 6. It's the blue parameter with the matching number, so I am able to get rid of that Silver Serpent. It goes back in the bag. And I am not able to do anything with that because I could only subtract 1, which wouldn't do any good. So unfortunately, if that was my third roll, I believe it was, it goes into the dice hold. All right, start of turn 4. Got rid of 1 at least, but still lots of clue cards out there. 3. All right, well, that means I have to move to any other one. And, well, I'm feeling lucky. Let me try to grab some extra dice again. So now I'm going to draw 5 for my first pull. And only 1. Okay. All right, here's a good example, although it's bad for me. This is a 1. I cannot place that there because it is not greater than or equal to 3, so it goes as my second Silver Serpent tracker. But what I do like, I'm really liking all these wilds to try to get rid of those Silver Serpents. So I could place this. I'm going to do that. Just to allow me to complete and solve that clue. Now, there is no text on it, so there's no power associated with it. But I've completed my second clue, so let's move that to the side. Wild dice go back in the bag. So we are getting there. So, oh no, I just realized. Oh. Okay, Mrs. Midas was there, so I cannot go to that turn. That's how she gets you. All right, well, I still like the dice that I'm working with. Let me go over to Mr. Hentrails because these wild dice might get me what I need to get over 20. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, but I don't want to... Okay, definitely, I could just solve it. So that's 18, 19. Flipping over the dice won't do much, but do I want to just get rid of that wild dice? Because then I'll be left with a blue that I can't use because no other clue cards have a blue, and I can't go there anyway. Well, it's not necessarily a lose-lose because I could try to use this wild card on another one. Save that for a low red. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Oh, perfect example. Okay, this power here. This is my third roll. What this will allow me to do, if I choose, is pass 1 dice to my next turn because I'm playing solo. So I won't have to take the penalty of putting into the hold. If you were playing cooperatively, you would be able to pass that single dice, just 1, to the next person's turn for them to add to their rolls. So, oh, no, you've got to be kidding me. Well, I can't use that because it doesn't meet the parameters. I was hoping to use that and then pass the blue dice for free. So, what I'm going to do, I still will use the pass the dice for the wild, but then the blue dice is going to go into my hold. All right. Start of the next turn, and I'm not thinking I want to take back any of those yet. Because I have an extra 1 for free. I want to try to conserve my turns. Okay. Mrs. Midas is going to 2, which is okay by me generally, because I'd like to get rid of those. And before I choose, I'm going to start over there, because I have at least one wild dice, which should help me get rid of those civil serpents. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to put out one more civil serpent. If I can, which I cannot, because that is not greater than or equal to 5. So halfway there via loss to the civil serpents. All right, well, and I totally forgot to roll that one, which I was supposed to roll because I passed that one along. Doesn't help me much, but I can use the power to subtract 1 to get rid of that civil serpent. Okay. I cannot place any. I can place that one. The red. You know what? I'll place that one. I'll move here for pass the die, which is my second roll. Now I can use that for the 2 red, but I'd rather not, because then I'd have to go back there just to try to get a 4 specifically. Well, I can, but I'd rather the wild dice. You know what? I'm going to take my chances and go back for my last roll. If I can get rid of that red, I have 2 dice chances here. And all right, I did it. Whew. Naturally, with the red 4 to get rid of that. Now, unfortunately, though, I cannot use this wild dice, so that goes into the lockup there. All right. Advance to 5, 6. Ooh, okay. Do I want to spend any more time to get dice back to the roll? And I do believe it comes back to my roll. Yes, dice taken back are added to the roll, so I'm just going to spend 1 for now. Should have probably done more to get that wild dice back. Okay, so that's going to get added. Mrs. Midas is going to 1. Mrs. Midas can go to case files that have had all of their clues solved, so that is a plus for us. So she's going there, and I am going to stay there with Alice. Hopes that I could finish out that clue card, so I take my 4. Yes, no dice, or no civil serpent dice. Now this one should be a lot easier here, and it is. All right, I will use the 5 red and 5 exactly for the blue, which gives me the power to swap out a dice color like that. Let's go back into the bag, and we are on our way. That was my first roll. Now I need just a red there. Let's go here for my second. Okay. And you know what I'm going to do? Because that's 18, 19, I need 20. I'm just going to use my wild because I like... I like the idea. No. You know, it doesn't matter much because I like that idea of having a wild, which I could use either one. Okay. So I'm going to use my red to get another copycat power. And, all right, we are moving through these clue cards. Definitely did not do this well before. All right, so on my 3rd turn, I could really go to either one, but I'm going to try to go down here because that'll give me an extra roll if I get it. And that is a nice power to have. And I do have the other powers. Okay, so this is quite nice. So I'm going to place the 2 because it's even. I'm going to use this power to add 1 for another 2, making that even, completing yet another clue. Wow, that was a huge, huge round. All right. Maybe it was good luck taking that dice from the hold. All right. 1 clue card left. Let's see where Miss Midas goes. 2. Perfect. Out of our way. We only have reason to go here. But with just 2 dice needed to solve the clue, let's hope for not any Civil Serpent dice. All right, we got 1, but we got a lot to work with here. And we have 3 different powers to play around with here. I don't know if I could show these powers. Don't know if you can see those. I'll try to roll the dice off screen. Okay, this was my first roll. Now a 4, we have to place that. Well, I have to place it there. I just don't know. Oh, sorry, folks. That's not a 3. I mean, that is a 2. So a little blip there. Okay. You know what? I'm just going to do it there. And I'm going to place that wild there. All right, 2 more rolls to try to get rid of that and solve that clue. And I have a bunch of extra powers I can use, so let's do that. All right, and I think we're going to do it. So I'm going to take that forward to get rid of the 4 serpent dice. Now I'm left with a yellow 2. Now I can use my copycat ability, and I'll use Jimmy Hentrails over there, thank you kind sir, to flip that dice to make it a 5, forgive me, and that gives me that last clue and the game. Not too bad. And let's see, that's 8 rounds it took me to do. I do think I got quite lucky here. I had some great powers. So that is Automated Alice. Really enjoy this game. I've only played solo thus far. Hope to maybe play some cooperative in the future. But I hope you enjoyed that game as well. And until next time, thanks.